Hey guys, Chris Cooking Nashville here. Today it is macaroni and cheese night. I've had this request for a very long time on my channel. Everybody asking me to come up with a macaroni and cheese when I started doing the other kinds of pasta. And I was never happy with the way it worked out. I think this one might be the winner. We're gonna see what Miss Ash thinks of this. This is actually not the first time that I've made this. I made a version of this a little while back. I told her what the secret ingredient was going to be in this, and she looked at me like I'd lost my mind.
Thought he had.
I know that you guys think I'm weird for doing things like putting bologna in a blender and these other kinds of things that I do, but they always work. This one might top it. I don't know. Depends on the person that is watching, whether they think this is weirder or maybe not as strange. I don't know. We'll see what you think. This is the macaroni and cheese, so let's see what Ash thinks, and then we'll show you how we make it. All right, so I have two different bowls here. This is just a classic macaroni and cheese. Cheese blend in this is like a Colby Jack and a little bit of a smoked Gouda, so should be a really good cheese blend. This is the exact same thing, except I put bacon. I asked all the people in the band what they would like to top their mac and cheese with, told them I was gonna be doing this recipe, and by far the biggest response was bacon. And I went ahead and added some sauteed jalapeno to it as well, because we always liked jalapeno bacon mac and cheese when we were on a standard American diet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to customize this, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's see what she thinks of the mac and cheese recipes.
I'm so excited. Start with the just regular one. For starters, it definitely looks like mac and cheese. Size of the noodle, the color, the texture. I like how in spots, like you can see, it's almost like a little brown. I grew up on like the Kraft box macaroni and cheese. That was always my go-to. I'm putting my fork through it. The texture's pretty spot on. That's pretty impressive. Sweet baby Jesus.
Better than the first time I did it?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. That's so good. I'm going to eat this whole bowl. I'm going to tear this up. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know how, so I'll actually make it. I know what's in it. Doesn't taste like what's in it, though. It tastes like mac and cheese.
You can't taste the secret ingredient at all, can you?
You can't taste it at all. What I love about your recipes, though, is I feel like you literally try to get as close to the real thing as possible. This is probably the best substitute you've ever made. Literally, like, I don't know how necessarily you got it. It's honestly kind of blowing my mind, so I just feel like I should take another bite to let it sink in. Like how you got the chewiness of a noodle, but yet smooth, and it's buttery and it's creamy.
What most people think of as macaroni and cheese is going to use some form of a boxed macaroni. Getting the texture and the flavor of a boxed macaroni style pasta is very difficult. That's why I didn't like any of my other pasta recipes, because they did not work. I think this one actually works.
I think this is the greatest carnivore thing you've ever made. I'm dead serious. This stuff is freaking awesome. And I'm going to eat this whole bowl and probably that one, so I hope you made more for yourself.
I'll show you how to do my cheese sauce, but if you want to do a different kind of sauce, or you want to bake the macaroni, or you want to do whatever you want to do to make your version of it, I think you can totally do that, because this pasta is made to work like that. You can have whatever the nostalgic version of macaroni and cheese is that means something to you, baked on the stovetop with additions, whatever.
I just can't get over the flavor and the texture. I'm gonna eat that whole thing, so can I try this now?
Yeah.
I'm also very excited because I think that was so good, but then you just put bacon on it, and that's gonna make it better. I feel like
I de-seeded the jalapeno, so you're gonna get the jalapeno flavor, but you're not gonna get any of the spiciness. I mean, you could totally leave the seeds in if you guys want it spicy, but
kind of like a little spicy. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it just got better. God, it's so good. Clearly, I feel like you can top mac and cheese in so many different ways. The bacon with the jalapeno, though, so good. 10 out of 10. I do really think that you have hit the spot. I think this is my favorite thing you've ever made, and I'm now going to eat all of this.
Well, here we go. While she is eating the bacon and jalapeno mac and cheese over here, why don't I go ahead and show you guys how we make it, and show you the secret ingredient that we are not tasting, but that makes all the difference.
You're not going to believe it.
All right, here's our ingredients. We have 4 whole eggs in a large bowl, 1 tablespoon of unflavored gelatin, 3 tablespoons of egg white powder, and 3 ounces of cream cheese. And this is our secret ingredient I'll show you in a minute. So we're going to add the eggs into a blender, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in my cream cheese. If you don't have a high-powered blender, soften that first. Then the beef gelatin goes in. Then we're going to add in the egg white powder. And here's our secret ingredient, salad shrimp. I know I'm crazy, but I promise. This is about 1.5 cups of salad shrimp that has been thawed and thoroughly rinsed. I'm going to add that in there as well. And then we're going to take our blender over to the base. I'm going to start blending this on low. I want to liquefy all of these ingredients together. And as soon as I get it all turned into a liquid, I'm going to take that low speed and turn it all the way up on high. And we're going to blend this on high for about 30 seconds until we get a very smooth, pasty liquid. You want to make sure there are no solid particles left. Once that's done, we can go ahead and turn that off, and it should look something like this. Now I have 2 silicone dehydrator trays that I have used lard to grease them. I'm going to spread this mixture between these two 50-50. I'm just going to spread it out as evenly as I possibly can. You don't have to be overly picky about this, but try to get it as even as you can between the 2 trays and spread as evenly as possible so that it will cook evenly. Now our pasta sheets are going to go into a 325-degree Fahrenheit oven, and I'm going to slide that on the top and the bottom rack. They don't have to be in the middle. It'll be fine, but I'm going to set a timer for about 15 minutes. This should take 15 minutes or so to bake, and when they're done, they're going to come out looking like this. There's no color on them, but you can see that they are no longer wet or glossy looking. They have gotten drier looking, and you'll also see around the edge here, it has pulled away from the dehydrator sheet. That's what we want to see. As you can see, I have my sous chef in the kitchen today. Once these have cooled, we're going to go ahead and pull them off of these dehydrator sheets and flip them out onto a cutting board so we can cut these into noodles. I'm going to cut these into boxed macaroni size, the blue box that everybody's familiar with. So I'm just going to make slices in one direction, and then I'll stack them up and turn them 90 degrees and cut them the other direction to make little macaroni noodles. But you can honestly cut this into whatever shape and size you want, whatever's easiest for you. It's all up to your personal preference. Next, I'm going to preheat a nonstick skillet over a medium to medium-low heat. And you can see Mel is waiting on mac and cheese today. I'm going to add in a couple of tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat down just a little bit because my butter is really sizzling, which is perfect, but we don't want it to get too hot. Then we're going to add our macaroni noodles into that pan with that hot butter, and we're going to go ahead and start stirring that around, coat everything in butter, and we're going to begin frying this mac and cheese noodle just a little bit to remove some of the extra moisture. We're going to fry this for anywhere from 5, maybe to 7, even up to 10 minutes to remove some of that excess surface moisture. And you can see Mel is not leaving the kitchen because this is going to be ready any minute, so she doesn't want to walk away.
Neither do I, and you can see how it's kind of sticking together as I'm frying it. I'm going to keep going for, like I said, about 5 minutes until when you pick it up, it starts to fall apart. At that point, I'm going to go ahead and add about a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. This is how I'm going to make my cheese sauce. You can make whatever cheese sauce you want, but this is my version. I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of shredded cheese. Use any blend that you like. And I'm going to start to stir those together. I'm flipping the macaroni over itself and then pressing down to combine the cream and the cheese in between all of the noodles. Now it's going to start getting a little sticky, so we're going to go ahead and take that same container of cream and add about a 1/4 cup of water. And I'm going to stir that through, and this is going to make our cheese sauce. You can use more liquid and more cheese, less liquid, less cheese to customize how you want the cheese sauce to work. Make sure to taste it for seasoning. Mine needed a little bit more salt, and I decided to add a little bit more cheese just because I wanted to taste it a little bit better. So you can customize that cheese sauce however you want. Stir it all together. You can season this with additional things if you want, and you should get this beautiful looking mac and cheese. So now let's plate it up.
All right, y'all, that's how we make the bacon mac and cheese, the classic mac and cheese with shrimp.
I never would have thought. It just tastes so good, and you don't taste the shrimp. It tastes nothing like shrimp.
No. What's interesting is when you cook the shrimp, those salad shrimp are already cooked when you buy them, and I soaked them in water and then rinsed them really well just to get off all of the excess shrimpy water from the outside. When you cook them, I think repeatedly, and you're overcooking those shrimp. Salad shrimp are already very mild, but they lose whatever bit of a shrimp flavor they had when you cook them more. And whatever flavor is left behind, it almost just makes it taste like boxed macaroni. Like that dry durum wheat thing that you get from boxed pasta. It gives it a little bit of that kind of a flavor. I had this weird idea to try it, and I did, and I was like, I cannot believe that that's what shrimp is doing. I was just doing it for texture, and then I realized that the flavor of it was actually better.
Which honestly, I have to say is pretty brilliant, because I never would have thought to make like a carnivore mac and cheese to use shrimp. But like you were talking about the texture of it, and now that I think about it, shrimp does have that almost like soft but yet kind of chewy.
Bouncy.
Yes, the bouncy.
Yeah.
Kind of like a macaroni and cheese noodle kind of would. So I mean that's actually brilliant, babe.
Overcooked shrimp is very bouncy, chewy, rubbery. And I figured if you balanced that with eggs, you would get that kind of chewiness from it. Hopefully, at least that's what my goal was, and I'm very surprised that it worked out. Now, if you have a shellfish allergy, I do think you could probably use something like, say, tilapia or cod or swai, or some other kind of fish, whatever kind of a white, like not fatty fish that you are comfortable with eating for your particular diet. I think you could use that. Just cook it, blend it up the exact same way. I think you're going to get a very similar result out of it. You just need something that's kind of in that seafood realm that is very mild or has no taste at all. And when you blend it up and then overcook it, it's going to give you that springiness, that chewiness. So if you have a shellfish allergy, that may be an option for you. Guys, that's a really unusual recipe, but man, is it good. We're going to enjoy it thoroughly. And truthfully, it takes a little while to make the pasta, but honestly, you could make this pasta in batches and very easily either refrigerate or freeze, because you're gonna fry it up with butter anyway, freeze it in portions, and then, thaw them in the fridge or thaw them even in some warm water in a bowl and throw it in there and fry it until it does this anyway. Once you throw it in the skillet, you start to fry it in the butter. It's probably 5 to 10 minutes of frying time, depending on how dry your pasta already is. And it's probably another 5 minutes to make the cheese sauce. Thank you all so much for watching. All of my links are down below. I'm going to link those silicone dehydrator trays that I used to make the pasta, and I'll link my pans in there as well. I've had some people asking me in my videos lately what kind of pans it is I'm using. Shout out to my parents for those. Those were a Christmas gift, so really appreciate them, and they're great pans. I'll link those down below as well, and all of my other links are down there if you'd like to support the channel in any of those ways. Leave a like, leave a comment, let us know down below what you guys are gonna do with this, what you like to put on top of your mac and cheese, what kind of nostalgic memories you have, and let us know if you're gonna make this, and just tell us how you guys like it if you try it. Thank you for watching. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, my beautiful wife, Ash Taylor. We love you guys, we appreciate you. Eat your meat, especially as mac and cheese. Love your life. We're gonna see you right here in the kitchen for our next recipe.
Bye. I'm just gonna keep eating. You
You
go
can help
ahead.
yourself any much as
eating.
you want to.
Just gonna keep putting this in my tummy. Do you want some of this? 'Cause I'm gonna eat all of
Honey,
it.
you have all that you want.
I'm gonna eat all.
Hungry when you thought you were?
No, it's just really good.
No, it's really good.
It's really tasty.